Whenever you watch those self-love advice videos on YouTube, do you feel confused on what actually to do? Because starting this journey, you'll feel a little lost and you'll go on wrong paths a lot of the time because people don't really know what self-love is. They confuse it with either self-care, or they confuse it with ego, and they confuse it with, narcissism, and they confuse it with, obsession. But to be honest, it's none of that thing, and that is why this is the ultimate guide on how to master self-love and to feel fulfilled in life. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The value you're going to take away from today's video is tips on how to actually love yourself. And is self-love narcissistic? So go, first of all, go watch part 1 because I've already uploaded it, and this is the part 2 to that, and I'll be continuing the tips from that. So personally, I believe that self-love can help you a lot in getting successful, in getting the things out of life, right? Really loving yourself, because builds confidence and it builds trust, and that is so important in business and in success. And you know what, just try loving yourself, and you'll see how fulfilled you feel, and how much you'll go out and do the things that you want to do just because you love yourself. So let's get right back into the video. Now, another thing is, don't complain and compare. We'll take one at a time. So like every single situation, when you start complaining, right, you're telling the universe that why is this happening to me. You're basically pitying yourself, right? You're pitying yourself, and you're complaining about this. Like, what do you even get by complaining? Let me just ask you that. Let me not even try to explain it. What do you even get by complaining? Do you do not get some sort of comfort? Yes, you may think, oh, I'm ranting, I'm complaining about things, right? I'm ranting, it's just a rant, I'm just letting my emotions out, I'm by complaining. No, that is not what complaining is about. You're not letting out your emotions. In fact, you're adding fuel to the fire and making it bigger and hotter, and that is just affecting you even more. That's hurting you even more. Because when you complain, you'll find yourself complaining about even more things, about what you don't have, your current situation, where you are. You'll find yourself comparing as well when you start complaining. And now let me get to my comparing point. See, when you start comparing, you get somebody else, like somebody else is more richer than you. So you compare them to you, and you think, oh, how am I supposed to get rich? No, that is not the only way to get rich. That's not the only correct way to get rich. Everybody's journey is different, and if two journeys are completely different, they're completely different from each other, how can you compare them? You have to compare two things that are likable, right? They're same. You compare two things which are same and they're likable, equally likable. Now when two journeys are extremely different, how can you compare them? Because you cannot compare two different quantities, right? Because everybody is different, everybody's journey is different, everybody's mindset, how they're getting to that point is different. And when you compare, you also find yourself complaining that why do they get to have it and why don't I get to have it. By doing this, you're just belating the things that are going to come to you, right? You're telling the universe that why do I not have that. So universe is like, okay, I'll give it to you even more later. That's how the law of attraction works. Instead, start looking at comparison through a abundance mindset. How you look at comparison through an abundance mindset, it is seeing somebody who's more richer than you, and just remembering that, okay, that person is more abundant, and then he or she is more wealthy, and that person is teaching me that that is what I want. He or she is telling me what I want, what my desires are, and what I value in life. So learn and recognize what the situation is trying to teach you, because that person who you may be comparing to with right now, they're just teaching you what you want and what you value. And when you look at it through the abundance mindset, you actually evolve yourself. Now, in comparison, you also get jealous. You want what they want. So there's this quote I've heard. It's called, jealousy is just an inner consciousness of one's in own inferiority. So when you look at somebody and you get jealous and you compare them, you're just like, oh, I cannot get them, and that's why I'm pitying myself, and that's why I'm comparing myself. So you're basically judging what you can and what you cannot do, and that is just not self-love. Not at all. That's actually pushing you away from self-love when you consider yourself inferior. Do not do that. Instead, be grateful that they are telling you what you value, what you want. Look at it through the abundance mindset. Now, another thing is, you do not need to be liked by everyone. People who are confident and people who love themselves, they are not liked by every single person, and that is totally fine. You're so worried about what other people will think, whether they will like you or not, that you are not realizing that you are just not, you are like signaling to yourself that you're in a lack state of mind, you're in a lack situation. So you're signaling to the universe that you're in a lack. So what will universe do? He will just give you what you're thinking, what you're believing in. If you believe you're in a lack, you will continuously get that lack. So when you actually think that oh, why am I not being liked by these kind of people? You know, their opinion, you're putting their opinion on a pedestal. That is not right, because you do not need to be liked by everybody. Have so much love and trust within you that you cannot be brought down. Yes, people may be saying so many things about you behind your back, and they might be hating you, they might be spreading rumors, they might be gossiping about you, you might be the talk of the table, but you have to realize that you have so much love within yourself and so much trust that you realize that it is totally fine. It's okay, not everybody will like me, and it's okay because I don't even like a lot of people. And some of those people who talk about me, they don't even like themselves. And sometimes you have to realize that it is not always personal. Some people, when they say something bad to you and you get hurt, it is not always personal. It's not always about you. Sometimes they're just projecting their insecurities, what they're feeling, what their beliefs are, their journey to you, what they may be suffering from in life. They're just projecting it onto you because they can't face it, right? So they feel like it's better to run away from it and project it onto somebody else who might actually, take responsibility for that, and they can escape that situation of theirs. So you have to realize that it is totally fine. Everybody has their opinions, and sometimes it is not always personal. Now, of course, you have to also remember that nobody belongs to you. I do not have any right over everybody, and stop trying to change people. Okay, people will not change unless and until they want to. Yes, I'm. You may give out helpful advices. I do that all the time on this channel, but I'm not taking responsibility for changing somebody, because I know I cannot change anybody. They have to take that decision themselves. They have to choose that for themselves, because if I am taking responsibility for just one person, I cannot make it happen, because nobody belongs to me. Nobody makes decision just because I'm telling them to. Yes, I will give out helpful advice, and if they find that advice helpful and they realize that yes, there's something wrong and I need to change myself, they will change. Otherwise they will not. You cannot change anybody. Nobody is your responsibility. Nobody belongs to you. And you, even if you want to do that, you cannot change them, because that choice, that decision, they have to make on their own. That decision does not get granted to you. And also forgive and bless people, right? Because yes, somebody may have hurt you, somebody may have said something bad to you, but when you're holding a grudge against them, you're like, oh, I have so much of hatred built for this person. You're suffering yourself. You're not making the other person suffer by ignoring them or hating them, or when holding grudges, you're not making them suffer. Instead, you're making yourself suffer. There, you are not doing a revenge by ignoring them and hating them and holding grudges. Instead, you're like hurting yourself even more. You're like, you have a knife and you're pushing it down even further and further when you keep on holding a grudge. So remember to forgive. Now, you are not forgiving just because the other person deserves forgiveness. They may have did something bad to you, but you're not forgiving them just because they deserve that forgiveness. You're doing it because you deserve peace. I deserve mental peace, and that's why I'm learning to forgive. And I'm like realizing that I have to forgive and I have to let go. Forgive that person and bless him further in life. It always does you better when you do good for other people. And forgiving and blessing is one thing which you can do, and that isn't even selfish of you. So just forgive the person and bless him or her. Yes, they may have done something bad to you, but then again, it may not be about you. And even if it was about you, you deserve peace. So forgive them and let them go. Now, the very important thing is self-talk. Self-talk, we have done we are regularly making negative self-talk and habit. It is literally a habit, and you're just continuously doing it every single day. You might have heard yourself saying, oh, I'm not good enough. Or when people even appreciate you, I don't know what trend this is. Like, people don't accept that compliment. People don't accept that appreciation. They say, oh, no, I'm not all that. I don't deserve it. I'm not all of that. You are better than me, and blah, blah, blah. You might be saying all of this, and you don't realize that how much your words are affecting you. This negative self-love, every single small talk, every single small word you're making to yourself, every single small word you're saying to yourself, whether it's negative or positive, it will be affecting you, whether in a good way or a bad way. So kill the negative self-talk today and right now. Whenever you get these here's a practical tip basically. Whenever you get these negative self-talks, do yourself a favor, and every time you get these, pay attention to them and then replace them with a better self-talk. Like, for example, if you say, oh, why are all these girls so pretty, why am I not like that? Kill that self-talk and instead say, I'm beautiful in my own way, I'm unique in my own way, and I deserve appreciation for the same, and I'm going to give it to myself for that. So kill negative self-talk and replace it with something better, okay, every single time you do it. And also remember to appreciate your authenticity. Self-love is also about knowing that yes, you can be authentic. You don't have to change yourself around certain people. You don't have to change yourself according to what other situations demand. You can present your authenticity because you love yourself so much. You're not worried what other people are going to think, and you're confident enough to put yourself out there as who you are, and not be worried about what others may be thinking of you or how other people may be judging you. Also you can try journaling prompts, like discovery self discovery prompts about who you are. So because if you don't know who you are, how are you going to love that person? You fall in love with somebody when you actually know that person. You've realized how they align with you and how you align with them. So learn about yourself even more, learn what your beliefs are, and if there are any limiting beliefs, accept them and do something and change them, pursue the change. So like just know everything about you. You have to know that. You can even go to therapy sessions for that, because I love doing therapy sessions for discovery, so I know every single part of me. It helps me discover myself, and that's amazing, because when I know who I am, I can love myself even more, because I know what parts to love. Like every single part I know about it, and I can love all of it. Now for the last point is, do things alone, okay? Even if it means that going out to all of these different places, new places. Now of course you will be intimidated because you've never been to these places alone. You've always have company along with you, and when you see other people, right, being with their friends or being with their partners, you'll find yourself, you'll see, you'll like expect that why are you not like them? So you will pity yourself for that, right? You will say, oh my, they might be thinking I'm cringe for coming here. They might be thinking I'm weird and I'm crazy to come here alone. You might see, you just perceive so much about yourself. You don't even realize how much negative self-talk is killing you. This is just an example of that, where you're just expecting and assuming things. Stop assuming, stop making assumed conclusions, because they may not be right. Your assumptions are not always right, and even if you want to make assumptions, why not make it in your favor instead? That yes, I'm going alone and I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it because I deserve it. I'm doing it because I have to show this sort of love and this practical, love language to myself. I have to go out alone and show it to myself. You might be wanting to do this thing with other people, but other people might be declining it, right? And they might not be wanting to go with you, so go do it alone. Do all kinds of things that you would do with your friends alone, and stop thinking what other people might be thinking and how they might be perceiving you, because your assumed conclusions are not right. And sometimes you're just self-sabotaging with thinking about what other people might be thinking about you, their perceptions, because at sometimes they're not even right. People might not even be thinking about you. They might be having the time of your life, and you're out there being alone and doing a favor for yourself, but you're using that negative self-talk about how people might be perceiving you. Oh my god, they might be thinking I'm weird and embarrassing, whatever, and you're pushing yourself down even when you could have the time of your life as well. Do what you want to do and actually go out and do it. Don't just talk about planning a solo date. Go out and do it today. And it's not about just having to go out. You can even do it at home right now. Take some time out for yourself after this video and do it for yourself. Cut out a task if you have to, but do it for yourself today. You have to do that in order to show you up for yourself, because when you love somebody, you're not always like, whenever you feel like I'm confused about what to do in self-love, just compare it with what you would do when you would love a partner, right? And do whatever you realize that you would be doing with them. Give yourself that favor of going out with yourself and doing what you want for once. For every single week, do it for yourself. What you want to do, sometimes prioritize your wants, your needs. And for the last part, I'm finally going to bust the myth where self-love is not selfish. Now, when somebody loves themselves, right? People say that, oh, they're selfish, they're narcissistic for putting themselves first. But just realize, this is your life, okay? And if you don't put yourself in your life first, then who are you going to put yourself first? In like planes as well, right? Aeroplanes as well, when they are like doing the safety protocol, they always say that, first help yourself with oxygen mask first before helping others. So if you don't even help yourself, you don't even prioritize yourself, you don't even protect yourself, your feelings, your time, and you don't even love yourself, then how are you going to do it for the other people? If you don't have that sort of prioritization for yourself first, you're not going to be able to do it for the people. So first thing is that's the first point that proves that self-love is not narcissistic or selfish. And the second point is, this is your life. This is your life, and you get to be the number one priority, because this is your life. Your life equals you are the number one priority. Okay, you are your priority, and you have to do it for yourself. Number 3 is, What narcissistic and selfish actually means in real terms, if I have to assess it, it basically means pushing somebody down in order to pushing your self love. And self love is nothing about that. You are not even focusing on other people, you're just so focused on yourself that you're not focusing on pushing other people down just to push yourself up. That is what narcissism means. It is not just loving yourself. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. You can do it for yourself because this is your life and you deserve to do it. You are your number one priority, so you deserve to do that for yourself. And understand it like that, where you're just overfilling, you're filling your cup first, you're overfilling it, so that once it's filled, your cup is yourself filled, then that overflowing cup, it is providing to everybody else, it's filling other people's cup as well. And that is not selfish. It's just the act of pouring water into your own cup, and once it overfills, you're letting that overfilled water, you're not serving, you're not keeping and reserving that overfilled water for even more glasses, because you know that one glass is enough for you, and you're pouring that water into things that actually fuel you, your growth, your love, right, for yourself. And the overflowed water, you're letting it go into other people's glasses because you love other people as well. You're so generous and you're so kind. And that brings us to the end of this video. Now, of course, this does not conclude everything about self-love. As I said, self-love is so much more than that. And if I come up with more points, like I remember more things, because see, all these videos just depend on what I just think of it at the moment, right? So when I get to know more about this topic and I learn more about it and I learn more how to establish self-love within myself, I will share my experience with you, and I'll share another guide on how you can practice self-love. I don't know when that video will come out, but when it would. So just push that notification bell if you want to be notified when the next video would come up. And thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned something or the other from it. And remember, you're worthy, you're blessed, you're loved. Love yourself and do yourself the favor. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye. And remember to just relax.